Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tony Bruno Show. A little melancholy entrance this evening, but when September ends, October comes around. Of course, the message in the beginning is about love, loss, life, and we want to really articulate the message of you know hope and ongoing for the individuals down there in Florida. What's up, everybody in the chat? I know AJ's over here handling phone calls right now. Tony and Robin's supposed to be calling in live from Florida, give us an update on what's happening. And hey, right out of the gate, about them
Philly!
Philly. How
Woohoo!
about them Phillies? Woo! Comeback. Knew it right from the get go. Knew it was gonna happen. Knew these
Hey,
guys
I
were
don't,
gonna
I
show
don't
up
want,
the last minute.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but 2 nights ago on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, we went through every single series and picked them. And so far, I'm batting
You did pick
100%.
them.
It looks like Seattle just beat Toronto. I had the Phillies and I had
You
Cleveland.
did.
This is where your picks come
Hey,
in right here, guys. Is my
go
timer
ahead and
on?
bring up your bring up your video. We can't
Oh,
see you. I mean, if you're gonna gloat, I mean,
woo!
you have so much gloating going on.
Oh, I
It's
just gloated
beaming
at
from you. It's
everybody.
permeating from your pores. Oh my goodness, yeah. So AJ and I again with the privilege sitting in for Tony and Robin. We wanted to make sure everybody out there in Tony Bruno Nation knows that they're okay. They've been really busting down there, helping people. They got themselves set up, got Dominucci set up, and these guys, like we were echoing last week, real live individual people. AJ's been there a couple times, bringing more supplies out, and it's really a reminder in these times of tragedy, trouble, and all this kind of shit, where good people really do come together. You know what I mean? Especially, Floridians. And we got tons of people in the chat, tons of people who've lived down there, tons of people who've, been in and out of the area. And that's one thing you can say for those guys down there. I mean, AJ, you're down there now. It just seems like anytime something like this happens, it doesn't matter if you're red, blue, purple, green, rainbow fucking color. Everybody's on board.
We do. We
Everybody,
come
gets
together
together. Yeah,
for
100%. And
sure. But what other way is there? I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stand there with your like I saw Nikki Fried fucking posting tweets on Twitter with her, and nobody fucks with a Biden. It's fucking bullshit. Ron DeSantis is on top of this. He's got it down. I mean, they rebuilt the bridge to one of the barrier islands in 3 fucking days. They built
I
a
know, three
bridge in
days,
three
man.
days. That's
They
insane.
haven't fixed 95 between Girard and Bridge Street in like 3 fucking years. It's like they put up those they put up those Jersey walls and just runs and runs and runs. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So yeah, I mean you're down there on the ground in Florida. You cut through the BS, you get the local news. Pretty every much is really on board with what DeSantis is doing, right? He's kind of prepped for everybody, prepped for everything.
Yeah, they are. I mean, he runs the state like a business owner would run a business. He plans ahead, he executes. But I got to tell you, when I went over there, it was last Saturday. I was over there. I loaded up
Right.
some water and some gas and some ice, and I've been through hurricanes before. I've been living here for 20 years. I had never seen anything like that with my own eyes ever. It was like something you see in a movie. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just it looked like it looked like somebody dropped a nuke on the area. I don't know how else to explain it.
It's some of the images that I've seen about just the amount of sand that had come inland and ashore. It's just on a beach. The Phils, baby, woo!
I'm sorry,
Learning about the
I
Phils.
wasn't distracting you, but that's I got ADD today.
No, no, it's beautiful because I'm waiting for you know our resident St. Louis fan.
Oh, he's
You know, I
coming. He's
I
getting
don't know.
married tomorrow, and he's coming. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, like
He's coming.
I'm waiting for that because St. Louis, right? Of like all the places. Hey, shout out to Wawa. Um,
I'm
s-
I'm I'm double
you
fisting.
double fisting tonight?
I'm, I'm playing a
48
tape
ounces of
all
energy.
weekend. That's it.
A side note. So did you get the flavor kind, anything like that? Anything
Yeah, I
special?
do hazelnut. So you got
Yeah,
to the perfect combo. You do a third a cup of hazelnut creamer,
right.
and then you do regular coffee. Perfect, bro.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nails knocks it out of the park each time.
Hmm.
Nice. I have to put that on my little to-do list, try list. But yeah. So St. Louis, right? Hub, great sports people, great sports fans. Blah 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 blah. They start walking out of the game, of all places. I'm sitting there thinking like, this is the Friel team. This is the pool host comeback versus the Astros team. Like, if there's one team you're not going to walk out of and walk out on, it would be the St. Louis Cardinals, especially at home. But people were filing out there. I mean, I got Nick Hale tweeting it out, NBC Sports Net's tweeting it out, and they're just showing people exiting. I mean, like, what's up with that, St. Louis?
I think
Come on,
it's
man.
more of St. Louis blew this game than the Phillies actually. It's not like some Bryce hit a 3-run bomb in the bottom of the ninth that freaking. And again, I had dogs and all kinds of shit going on, but
Yeah,
what he walked. I know he walked in or he hit Bohm that brought a run
yeah, hit a
in,
guy.
and then
Yep.
Segura hit that ground ball the second, which if the infield wasn't in would have been a double play. So
Yep.
I think it was more of them blowing it, but again, this is the Phillies we're talking about, and they don't follow any sort of
Right.
trends. So if they get no hit tomorrow
No.
night, that shouldn't be a surprise at all. Or if they
Yeah.
went
No. Absolutely.
17-2, that shouldn't be a surprise. I mean,
No,
fucking
I shouldn't be
Phillies.
surprised at all. No, not at all. It's I was very, very impressed with them for whatever reason in ninth inning. They flipped the switch and they decided to play a little bit of small ball. You know what I mean? And it's like take what they're giving you, slap it the other way. When's the last time Arenado missed the ball? You know what I mean? Like that shot down the line, he comes up on it, gets past them, send the guys home. Great on Robbie Thompson, Rob Thompson making the switch for the pinch runner with Sosa. It's like there's everything. Just it all came together in ninth inning. And Segura after the game, not make this all Philly tonight, but it's Major League Baseball. And he goes, what was he saying? Da-da-da. We got to their closer. Like they figured they bring in the closer. 5-out save, 6-out save. Now St. Louis is sitting there with the starting pitcher who only had 75 pitches when he gets pulled. And then hey, there you go. What's up, Miss Robin?
Says they're
So
gonna
everybody doesn't
knock.
know.
Oh,
They're going to try to knock. Yeah, the cell service, internet service is all sorts of sketchy down there, but they had sporadic and intermittent 5G connectivity. So maybe that's thanks to Elon Musk. Who knows? But
how do people feel, real
doing
fast,
well,
before you
doing
leave
well.
the subject here? How do people feel about Eflin closing out these games? Because I mean, they brought
Oh
Eflin
man,
in the
yeah.
bottom of
Throw,
the
throw it up
ninth.
in the chat what you think about Eflin. I, I tweeted out when they first brought him in to close the season out, the clinching game, and I said I just didn't want him to be the closer. The reason being is that he's one of those guys where lets a base runner on, and it gets inside of his head. Shit starts to snowball, and it's snowballing, and snowballing, and it's like, all right, what's he gonna do? And thank God tonight he decided to lock it down, come back, made some aggressive pitches. Uh, they definitely gave Yachty two two pitches on the sliders that he was throwing away, and then thank goodness for him he went back to it the third time and he chased it. But yeah, expect that shit to hit the fan tomorrow night. I don't know, man. I don't know, Ron. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, everybody.
Oh,
Hello.
look at the
We should
knocker.
be turned around with that behind us, Robin,
Yeah.
I
so you
can do
can see
that.
the full moon.
Right.
What up, yo?
You guys didn't get the knocking sound effect. Hang on. Knock, knock. There you go. All right.
Well, it's daylight here, but it's been an unbelievable last time. We're just getting back to Cape Coral. And since then, we got the generator started. We went through an entire week. Bought a little grill here, not charcoal, but a little gas stovetop grill, so we can make some hot dogs and warm up some soup and do that stuff. And then miraculously last night, when I went to start the generator at 7:25, Robin comes running out of the door. Now the generator's running, so I think, oh, maybe something wrong happened upstairs. So she comes out on the patio door and she says, I turned it off. She says, we have power. We have power. So we had power at 7:30 last night, which means we had lights. There was light. There was electricity. There was air conditioning. There was hot showers. I mean, everything that you dream about, that you take for granted every day, we finally got to take hot showers, make coffee in the morning without having to add more gasoline to the generator. And after a long, crazy day where we were all over the place.
Those are great.
Hey,
I
if you
still do not have.
Hey, if you guys can hear me, when Tony was talking, wherever you were holding that phone was good. The second that you move the phone an inch, you guys freeze up like a Disney princess.
Yeah, but I don't understand because there's cell tower right there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You're in and out.
There you go. That's better. Right where you're at there.
We love looking at you, but you might do better off calling because you're completely frozen right now. This is like when Geraldo was over there in Iraq and the satellite images were all frozen up and Geraldo was dodging bullets and taking POWs. It's a
Hello?
completely.
Can you hear me now?
Mm,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, right
Yeah,
now,
let's-
yes. Right now, yes.
Yes, right now, yes.
We're gonna have to call you because, as we mentioned, we got power, but we still don't have a decent cell service, and they have zero internet. So other than that, the communications here are absolutely exceptional.
Well, you're perfect right now. You're perfect right this second.
Okay, well,
Robin, can you hold that like that?
I have one leg up in the air, and I'm like halfway upside down. But other than that, it's fine.
That
Friday
works.
night, baby.
Can you hold that for?
Yeah, I used to do that when I was trying to.
So we're
get
still good right there, right?
Yeah,
We're still good right there, guys.
at the moment.
Yeah, about 75%. Yeah.
You know what? We're just AJ. We're gonna call through the board. Okay, that'll make it easy.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
won't get to see our glory, tired faces, but you'll hear us at least.
Thank you.
All right.
All
I'm
right,
here.
we're here. All right, we'll wait for the call. All right, they're out. So
Poor guy. We're booting him off his own show.
I know it takes. I mean, like they're like, hey, you guys, you sit in for 2 weeks. We're like, oh yeah. Last week I wanted to, cut them off when they're talking. This week you can't even get the video stuff to work on your end.
Guys, this is now the Dunkin and Wawa show. So all right,
Dunkin'
they're
and Wawa.
calling in here. Let me.
There's a phone call from Tony
Hello?
Bruno.
Better.
Yes, I can hear you. Duncan, can you hear him?
Yeah, bump it one more time.
Go ahead, Tony.
Hello. Cape Coral, can you hear us?
Yes, Albuquerque, you're on the air.
Hello. San Luis Obispo,
Hello.
California. Hello.
Oh.
So yes.
So,
back
so
to,
go
yeah.
ahead, guys.
We're lucky. We are lucky. We're one of the few streets because it's a up near a major intersection that they worked on getting, and we were able to get power back. But everywhere around us, we're still hearing generators.
Yeah, even right across the canal from us. You're thinking, well, what I did is there are people sitting out every night with a lantern on their patio across this kind of canal is only like 100, 50 yards across from us. And so these people had lights, like a lantern. They sit in their backyard every night in their screened-in porch. So I turned on our patio lights and sort of like did a symbol, turned it on and off to alert them that the power was on. Our next door neighbor didn't know the power was back because a lot of people turned their circuit breakers off. We just happened to have light switches on. So when the power came back on, many light switches in the house went on. So I called my next door neighbor because he saw me gassing up my generator at 7:15 to get ready to turn it on before darkness. And then he went up the steps not knowing that the power was on, and I didn't know it until Robin yelled down. So anyway, power goes on. I called my neighbor and said, hey, man, turn your lights on. The power's back on. And he was screaming, and it was like hallelujah choir down the street, but not everybody got it because across the street, as I mentioned, I was flashing my patio. I was flashing other things too, but they couldn't see me. And it's still pretty empty across the street. There's still not many people there. Our neighbors across the street just got a generator. They were only there for one night. They said, screw it. And I don't think their power's on because nobody's in that house. So it's neighborhood by neighborhood. And we're lucky that right now our neighborhood has power. But unfortunately, we still don't have any internet or really quality cell service. It says 5G, but it's not strong enough to broadcast video signal.
Well, you're sounding good right now. And I know that feeling from being in past hurricanes when the power is out and then when it comes back on, it's like your first it's like losing your virginity almost, isn't it? I mean, it's the most amazing
it was so
feeling.
funny. It was so funny because I was looking at one of the lights, waiting for Tony to get it turned on, and then he has to switch the little breaker to switch it over to power the rest of the house. And I'm waiting for the light to come. The light comes on, but it's so bright, and it took me like a full 30 seconds to realize, oh, wait a minute. That's not just the light, that's the entire house is lit up.
Yeah, because the generator was only attached to the refrigerator, a long extension cord into our master bedroom where we have the 5,000 BTU little wood window air conditioner that AJ got us when he came back last Saturday. So that was a lifesaver for a couple of nights. The first 2 nights were cool, and then it got hot and humid again. So without that window generator, without that window air conditioning unit, we would have probably not slept for 3 straight nights. So anyway, we had an extension cord going to that. We had an extension cord. We actually used our washer the other day during the day, unplugged one device and then plugged the washer in so we could wash clothes, and then went out to the Ace Hardware and got one of those back. We're up on a patio, so we put hooks in the wall so we could have 2 long, 20-foot long clotheslines, like the old days, man, like my mom used to do. My mom never had a dryer when she was growing up until we got her one when we moved back to Philly from LA. It was like people have their clothes hanging out on clotheslines.
I believe Tony posted a picture of that.
He did. It looked very enjoyable, the drying of the clothes. I won't lie. I sat there for a while and watched your clothes dry in that still picture for quite a while.
Yeah, I think I
More exciting than watching paint dry. You've heard that, it's like watching paint dry. When you're watching clothes dry, it's a much different vibe. You know what I'm saying?
So it's funny, when you guys moved in, you were snooping on the neighbor across the canal there who was skinny dip, and they're probably snooping on you guys drying your clothes now.
No, they're not even in their home. They're gone because
their door, their back window is open.
Because they were in their pool the other day. I'll tell you what, the guy the owner, the husband, it's a husband, wife, and they have 2 kids, 2 girls, and they had their boat on a lift, and their boat survived because he latched it down nicely. So what he did yesterday, or I think this morning, he was smart. When we had high tide, remember he doesn't have any electricity, so he can't bring his lift up, but he can bring it all the way down. So when the water was high enough, he brought it all the way down, manually, and then pushed his boat off into the lagoon, and then tied it to his dock. So his boat now is just tied to the dock because he didn't know when the electricity was going to come on, and obviously his generator couldn't power his lift. So his boat is just tied up very nicely so that if he wants to go out tomorrow morning and take a nice ride and go check out what's going on, he can do that. So good thinking by our neighbors here. And they've only been in that house 6 months, apparently.
Yeah. As long as another storm doesn't come, otherwise we're screwed.
Don't even go.
Yeah, don't even say that. Let's not even.
I mean, and yesterday, all day yesterday, we were actually out and about volunteering. We had some extra provisions in the back of our pickup truck, and we thought we would see if there was any place that we could donate for Pine Island. And we drove. For those of you who don't know the layout, Cape Coral is just above Fort Myers, and Fort Myers halfway through Cape Coral, there's a road that's called Pine Island Road, and if you keep going all the way out towards the Gulf, that starts to drive through Matlacha Isles, which is a kind of like a sandbar that over the many years is landfill, and homes have been built, and it's a really nice artist community. And there's a long road plus like 2 bridges that then connect to Pine Island, which is Pine Island is 2. The top half is called Bokeelia, and the bottom half is called St. James City. And that is one of the barrier islands, along with Sanibel and Captiva, that were just decimated by this storm. And so we wanted to see if we could drop off some provisions there. And we didn't realize that we could actually keep driving. So we were documenting, we were taking pictures, looking for a place to drop off what we had brought over, some water and food, when a woman,
not a woman, a bunch of women.
Yeah, a bunch of people, not just women, waved us down, and it turned out that they were a volunteer organization from Ecclesia Miami, a church organization that brought over like 40 or 50 people and separated into groups that were volunteering for all sort, whatever people needed, whether they also brought tons and tons of provisions themselves, diapers, baby food, water, wipes. I mean, you name it. They had a huge boatload, but they got a volunteer to bring them over on boat. But then they had no way of getting further on the island. So they asked if they could hitch a ride in the back of our pickup truck. And we said, absolutely, sure. And since we didn't really have any plan of where to go or what to do, and they seemed to be a little bit more organized, we ended up helping them for the rest of the day. We went up to one of the really hard hit, actually two of the really hard hit mobile home parks that it seemed like every other mobile home was completely wrecked. And I mean, people don't understand the devastation that's there. And we didn't even make it down to St. James City, which is one of the harder ones as well. But they were told, and we were told, that if you're going around and you're helping people, do not go in any of the homes that have collapsed. One, it's too dangerous, but two, the Army and National Guard have not had a chance to go through it yet. They went through once, calling out if anybody needed any help to help save them. But if they didn't hear any voices, they didn't go through them yet, and they're worried that there might still be bodies there.
Oh, God.
There also could be illegal looters, illegal immigrant looters in there also.
Yeah.
Well, not so
Alligators.
much there in the mobile home parks, because I think that the looters are concentrating on the higher end areas like Sanibel and Captiva.
And they're getting there by boat. They're
Yeah.
taking boats to Sanibel and Captiva, and then they're just going into these big mansions where people live because they're not there anymore. And that's where they're looking for the high-end stuff, thinking, hey, these people are rich. They live in $5 million homes on the ocean. Let's go in there. We're not going to go into a burned out, destroyed RV park because those people don't have anything. So I think that's where it is. But it's interesting. Everywhere we go, you see painted on fences, don't loot, we shoot.
Yep.
Florida strong. So, and Governor DeSantis said it, we're a Second Amendment state. People have the right to protect themselves, especially during a disaster, but we haven't seen any signs of any looting here in Cape Coral or even in Pine Island, where you think there'd be an opportunity. But as I mentioned, there was one restaurant called the Yucatan Bar and Grill, and it's on the water. And Robin and I were there last summer. We went there and we sat outside right on the water. It's not oceanfront, but it's actually the bay. It's actually the Matlacha River. And you sit right there on the concrete, and it's an awesome place. We got there yesterday. It was completely gutted inside, flooded out. All the toilets were broken. I mean, it looked like a bomb had been dropped in that area. And we're walking through taking pictures so we can match up what it looked like when we were there before and what it looks like now. Totally devastated. And they were using that parking lot of the Yucatan restaurant for supplies to be dropped off. So there'd be hundreds of cases of water. And then right down the street, there was a 7-Eleven. And that American Red Cross was in a parking lot setting up. And the volunteers were there. So it's amazing how many people are out there. When we took the trip yesterday, our intent, we didn't know we were going to go out to Pine Island and help people. We just thought, all right, let's take some stuff with us. But these people had gloves and they had boots on, and we just had flip-flops, and we didn't have any gloves in the car. So when they would stop and try to go take out some debris from somebody's home in front, not inside the house, but there's like all the metal, all the aluminum, all these structures, these carports that people build to keep their cars in the shade. Every single one of them. There's more white aluminum all over the streets than anything else, other than trees and down lines. So they were picking up aluminum. So me, I can't sit still in a truck while other people are working. So I went out there with my flip-flops and bare hands and carefully started bringing stuff to the sidewalk. So, and I guess the biggest service we provided yesterday was lugging stuff, filling up our truck, and then transporting it to the next location. So we felt good, and these people really appreciated our efforts. I think we helped them in more ways than they could imagine because we were filling up the back. And now that we took our fifth wheel hitch out of there, we had much more room. We had like 8 people in the back of our truck just bringing them around. And
actually, I mean, this brings up, people ask us, what do you need? What do you need? We personally do not need anything. We have been incredibly lucky and blessed that our location did not take on any water. The roof is still over our head. The only thing, I mean, we were slightly inconvenienced for a little bit over a week. We were blessed that we were able to go someplace safe during the hurricane, and so many people were not. So we don't need anything, but we are now finding out the things that people do need. And I would say 90% of the need are physical volunteers. For anybody that is physically able and has the time and the tools to come volunteer, that's what they need. Because you now have access to Pine Island, and volunteers are needed to go over there and just help people. You know, taking aluminum off of their homes that have flown on top of it and they can't get to anything, clearing out their yards. I mean, it's just cutting down trees that have fallen over and branches, and it's a daunting task, but that's really what they need.
So let me ask you if you would comment on Ron DeSantis and the job that you, being at Ground Zero and going through this, the job that you think he's done.
What he's done is remarkable. And again, I'm not saying it because I like him and I live in Florida now. If he was not doing a good job, I'd be the first guy all over him. But every day, and what he's been doing in the last few days, he realizes that this area down here in Lee County where we are, this is ground zero. I mean, Orlando's recovered, you know, the people doing their jobs up there. Most of the places have reopened up in the Orlando, northern Florida, on the northeast side of Jacksonville and those big cities, you know, that didn't get completely devastated and had electricity. The focus is here in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Sanibel, and Naples. These are the places that got devastated. So Governor DeSantis has been coming down here every day. They're flying him in by helicopter. He's meeting with people. If you go on Twitter and just see, you know, and of course all the political losers on there who hate DeSantis because they want Charlie Crist, the tan man.
And comment on his white boots.
Yeah, because that's what all the people here who are doing volunteer work, all the state leaders, all the FEMA people, they have these, they're not even white, they're like light gray boots. And there are people picking on DeSantis because he was wearing white boots. Of course he's taking bigger, people are coming up and hugging him. People are thanking him for showing up.
By the way, the white boots, for anybody that doesn't know it, white boots are worn mostly by fishermen and shrimpers. That's their uniform. I don't know why they're necessarily white, but those boots were probably given to him by somebody so that he could walk around safely. And they gave him the ones that they were wearing as well. You know, I mean, it's so stupid. But what we're hearing from other people that live around here who have been through multiple storms and hurricanes, they said that considering how much more devastating this hurricane was than others, they are astounded at what has already been done and what is continuing to be done this time compared to previous times. The fact that Cape Coral, for the most part, other than small pockets that still don't have power, most people are now having power already. The National Guard has something called the blue roof something or another, that every house that had any kind of roof damage is already covered with blue tarp. It's awesome. I mean, it's the fact that he cut through the red tape and had a bridge built to Pine Island that lost their bridge in 3 days. He had a bridge built, and it's not just like a little wooden bridge that only one car at a time can go over. Oh no, this is a bridge that huge freaking semi trucks are going over to bring more provisions, and huge, you know, those big ass backhoes and heavy duty equipment. This is a real bridge.
Yeah, they say there's a sign that says 43-ton limit because it's a brand new bridge that they just did. So if you can handle 43-ton trucks, you know that doing a bridge in 3 days like that is just an absolute Herculean task. And then DeSantis announced that he's bringing in even more engineers in the hopes of getting the Sanibel Island bridges redone. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're not redone within the month.
Yeah.
That's how incredible, because that's an important area here for tourism, not just because rich people live there, but because for tourism, businesses. You know, Sanibel Island is one of the crown jewels down here in Southwest Florida. People go there. It's just an amazing place. And so that's what they're doing. They're making sure that people have the basic necessities first. And that's why the National Guard and all the volunteers are doing the work they're doing. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I posted the other day. It was a video shot by somebody on one of the main roads where there was a caravan of 1,000, at least 1,000 bucket trucks, one by one, just coming down into Cape Coral so they could blanket the entire area. Trucks loaded with new telephone poles, 20 in one, 20 in another one. I mean, so many poles were snapped in half, and they have the big drill on one truck, and then they have the bucket to put them up. It's Herculean, man. I'm telling you. I've seen devastation. I've seen tornado damage. I've seen areas, neighborhoods devastated when I lived in Alabama by a tornado. I've seen hurricane remnants up in New Jersey during Tropical Storm Sandy. I remember storms hitting the Jersey Shore, you know, and messing up the beaches like Ocean City, New Jersey. All over the country, people know that when storms hit, you've got to do stuff fast. And remember, Florida's a pretty big state. And DeSantis has been everywhere in this state, but now he's focusing on the Lee County area, which has definitely been the hardest hit.
Has anyone seen Nikki Fried in her campaign bus, which she no longer needs, shuttling supplies in and
Campaign bus or bust? I missed that.
I thought her name was Fried. Is her name Fried or Fried?
No, it's Fried, Nikki Fried. But she got fried.
Well, she was fried anyway from the beginning.
Fried.
Yeah, she was there the other day when President Biden came to town. I don't even know where they were. I only see it when I have my Twitter open and I could get caught up to what's going on. So President Biden shows up, and then Nikki Fried, because she's still the agriculture commissioner, and as an agriculture commissioner, her claim to fame is that her name is on stickers on every gas pump. I'm not making this up. And I'm not knocking her. She's got a job. She tried. She ran. She tried to become the nominee for the Democrats to run against DeSantis next month in November. She had no chance. You know, because Charlie Crist is a longtime politician, and he's trying to run again. And the thing that really got into Charlie Crist's craw is the fact that he had planned the week of the hurricane, that Thursday, the day after it hit, but he had planned the week before for Joe Biden to come down here and campaign for him, only to have that canceled because obviously the state was devastated. And so when President Biden came on Wednesday, Charlie Crist couldn't show up because it'd be him endorsing DeSantis. So you had Nikki Fried there, and you had a bunch of other FEMA people. And then Joe Biden went up there and was stumbling and bumbling, reading off his binder. And then the funniest picture is that DeSantis walks up to the podium, which has President of the United States symbol on it, because they bring that around wherever the president goes and whoever the president is. But then DeSantis comes up after Biden, and people are taking pictures and still shots saying, "New president just dropped."
Yeah, that was awesome.
There's a lot of images. You know, DeSantis is a popular guy, and I know the Republicans hate him. They hate Trump. They're the two people that they're afraid of, and it's obvious because they're trying to go after Trump every day. And now, no matter what DeSantis does, he could turn the water into wine here, and the Democrats would still be so pissed off and jealous. Like he planned the hurricane. No, he didn't plan it. What he did is he acted like a leader acts when there's a calamity. He jumped into action immediately. He didn't go out there and throw paper towels around. He went and met with people. He brought the people in that needed to be brought in. And I give the government credit. FEMA's doing its job, and that's what FEMA's supposed to do. FEMA comes to every disaster area, whether it's big or small. So all the trucks, we saw a caravan yesterday on Pine Island, things I've never seen before. They were like 4-unit bunk bed trucks, and there must have been 20 of them in a row. And I think those are temporary quarters for people who have no place to live, or maybe the volunteers, not the volunteers, maybe the
National Guard, or I don't know who's
It's incredible. I forget what they were called. We took a picture.
Zebra.
Yeah, they were called Zebra.
Zebra bunkhouse sleepers or something.
Yeah,
like that?
and there were 4 units on each one with their own air conditioner. And there must have been 20 of them in a caravan going to Pine Island and other places where people had no. And by the way, not only do they not have a place to live, there's not even enough shelters. Yeah. Because the people are still there, stuck there. So they're bringing out temporary, at least bedrooms with air conditioning, so these people can sleep when there is no place to build shelters.
What was Pine Island before the storm? Is it a tourist area or is it just a residential?
It was a little bit up. It was
Very rural, though.
It was very rural. There was cattle ranches there. There was a lot of horse ranches. It used to be back in like the 40s and 50s. It was like the #1 pineapple and mango agriculture location in Florida. And over time, those bigger ranches got sold out. And so it was kind of like country rural, except the most northern half has the city of Bokeelia, which is one of the top 5 fishing tourist towns in the nation. And then the southern part, St. James City, became a really happening, like cutesy, not cutesy.
Bohemian, not even bohemian.
Yeah, I don't know, like old school, but newer.
Younger couples buying lots and building homes out there.
Lots of restaurants and a boater's paradise. There was a lot of like those restaurants that you can only get to by boat.
Sounds like the Hamptons.
Pine Island, Robin and I, when we were looking for lots, we went to Pine Island, and a lot of the lots are in the middle of the woods. And the other thing about Pine Island, and that's one of the reasons why we decided not to build there, not because of hurricane fears, but because driving to a store, you know, you'd have to drive 10 miles because they just built a new Publix on there, believe it or not, that just opened
Like
the other day after the storm. No, it opened after the storm.
Oh, they hadn't even opened it.
No, it hadn't even opened. So they built this big Publix because that area had more and more population. But as far as overall population, Pine Island is not a heavily populated place. It was starting to become that, but there weren't a lot of complexes. There were mostly like lots where you have an acre, and people who wanted more acreage wanted to be away from, you know, the noise and stuff.
There was like a pretty nice golf community out there with newer homes. We even looked at one of those thinking about it. But it was like a slightly less bustling, less touristy Sanibel.
And for people around the country listening, for example, in New Jersey, you know, you think of Brigantine, you know, when you go over the island and it's just a couple of lanes in each direction, or the Keys, or in other places around the country where you have a barrier island. Obviously, most of them are on each coast, and barrier islands always take the brunt of any storm, and that's why they're called barrier islands. They were built by sandbars and eventually became islands, and then there's usually water between it. For example, the Intercoastal Waterway, you have the Miami beaches and all the other beaches, and then all of a sudden you have there you have major land masses. So if you've been to Miami, you see the barrier islands. My phone just fell, Robin. I don't know why you got up and walked away. What are you looking for?
She's got laundry to dry.
No, there's a dog barking out there. She gets up and knocks everything over.
Tony,
it's totally dark out there.
Tony, Brian Wagner
Damn
wants
it, Robin.
I know we're talking about.
Hey, Brian
He's so
Wagner
full of
wants
shit.
to know if you have any report on Epstein Island. Did it make out okay in the storm?
Epstein Island is okay. I understand Hillary Clinton and Tom Hanks are getting on a special flight this weekend to head on out there. Ghislaine Maxwell got a weekend pass, so Hillary wants some action. You know, Slick Willie, he hasn't had any good intern action in a long, long time. He's not looking too sharp right now, but it happens to all of us. You know, we get older, and then, you know, although when you're powerful, even if you're old, I wouldn't know that because I'm getting older, but I'm not powerful or super rich. Those guys always get asked. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You look pretty powerful to me the other day when we were moving that generator and you with the tools. All that stuff is foreign to me. Wrenches and screwdrivers and gas cans. So to me, that's a pretty powerful dude because without my right-hand man, Chef Tom, I'm useless. So to me, you'll always be powerful, Tony.
Well, you know, the next day, Tony did fix the generator all on his lonesome. So you're
saying that it was my fault? Is that what you're saying? That when I was there, you couldn't get it working, and without me, you did? Oh, I see how it is.
No.
You guys are
exactly,
show in the future.
No, that's Robin saying that. I knew what I needed. I needed starting fluid, and nobody had starting fluid. And we went to like 6 stores until we finally found a can of it on the next day, on Sunday, during NFL Sunday, when, you know, we had no TV, no power. We had no water. We had nothing. So that's when we went out going to stores, and that's when the gas lines were around the block at every.
I was not implying that, by the way.
The few gas stations that were open. Now the good news is each day that passes, there are more and more gas stations, and the lines are smaller and smaller. And while people are bitching about gas in California, where it's back up to $7 a gallon again in many places, the gas is down to like $2.93 here. So that's the thing that I was really proud of, and not proud. I had nothing to do with it, but I was looking at it. I'm waiting for price gouging to go on, and the gas station at Sam's Club is $2.93 for a gallon of regular, and $3.30 for premium. So they are not gouging people down here. California, meanwhile, you see the prices go up, and I saw that President Biden today was talking about, well, I got the gases down $1.50, and then all of a sudden, Saudi Arabia and Russia, they made the prices go up again. Well, if that's the case, how come the prices didn't go up in Florida? How come they came down? So they're just grasping at straws. I just want facts. I want people to tell us the truth. And the truth is, people are not gouging down here. Gas prices have come down when they need. You would think supply and demand, right? I mean, people need gas here, just for the generators that are running all over the place, just for the cars and trucks and all these vehicles that are coming in. How come the price of gas has gone down in Florida during a national disaster, and the price of gasoline has gone up to $7 or more in California, when the only disaster is their governor, Newsom?
Oh,
That's my political rant. Did you put the Bruno rant? Did you put the Bruno rant sign up?
No, we
Flashing it.
capabilities, but
They don't have access to that. That's on my computer.
I didn't even plan a rant tonight because I'm in a happy mood. We're happy that people are safe. We're happy that things are getting slowly. I mean, 8 days after losing power, we were told to take a month. 8 days later, we get power back on.
Yeah, I mean, this is the amazing thing. Right after hurricane, we were being told by the news, by other politicians, that they said, well, it's going to be at least 30 to 60 days before you get water and or power back. The bridges that were out, they were projecting 6 months for the Pine Island Bridge to be rebuilt. And I think the last time I heard somebody official saying something about Sanibel was that it was going to be like 3 years. But
The fucking out of here, 3 years.
DeSantis, this is one of the things that I'm hearing from a lot of people around here that were able to listen to news. They said that he has been just cutting through red tape. When anybody says, no, that's not, we have to get this permission first. He's like, no, we need to get the bridge built. And so he just brings in his own people rather than going through the governmental red tape. So we had the Pine Island Bridge built in 3 days.
It took 3 days to design it and then 3 days to build it. 6 days from when they said we got to rebuild this, brought the engineers in, had the heavy trucks go in, and then 3 days later it's built. You don't see that. You see that in Japan. Yeah. You see that in foreign countries where they have their shit together when it comes to construction. Here, the people who are doing construction and road strike, it doesn't matter where you live. Every major interstate in this country is constantly under construction because we're widening it. But it takes, as you guys mentioned in New Jersey, you go over the Walt Whitman Bridge, that 42 freeway, 295, that's been under construction since I was a child, and I'm 70. So I think there's this ongoing thing where roads have to constantly, and listen, infrastructure is important. Dilapidated bridges have to be replaced. But I mean, there's road construction going on every day for years and years and years. And that's good. That's what we need. That's what the government does with our tax dollars. Instead of sending it all to the Ukraine and all these other places to get in more wars. What?
That was as close as we can get to a Tony rant. That's it. We got Paulie Walmart.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, speaking of Ukraine, so if you go anywhere around here, if you're standing in line for anything in the grocery store or gas stations or whatever, that is one thing that you are hearing more than anything else is people so angry that more money, not just all the money that has already been sent over the Ukraine, but that Biden, after this United States, one of the biggest disasters in the last 50 years in the U.S., that he then even committed another, how much, 600 something million dollars
I don't know what he's doing.
to the Ukraine. This is insane.
Well, he's trying
it
to
is
sneak.
insane, and people are angry.
He's trying to sneak Ukraine money into the Florida relief bill that they're trying to
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
It's just insane. And then they're trying to blame the Republicans who voted against it, saying, no, we are not going to sign this bill that has more Ukraine money in it. And they're saying, oh, the Republicans didn't sign a relief bill for the Florida residents who desperately need it. No, they didn't sign it because it has fucking Ukraine money in it again.
The bottom line is this, guys. Again, all politicians. I don't have a lot of good things to say about the Republican Party either. So I'm not some partisan hack who's like, yeah, Republicans. I told you I've never been a Republican until I came down here and registered Republican because Ron DeSantis is going to be a president of the United States one day, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 6 years. He's the leader. That's the face of a leader. That's a man who has command. He's smart. Everything you want in a president, that's Ron DeSantis. So he and Trump are going to be the two guys. All these other clowns are going to waste money and people are going to send them to him. Same thing with the Democrats. Gavin Newsom thinks he's going to be the Democratic nominee when he can't even run a state. Now he's giving away. I don't know if you saw this. He's now sending more money to the people of California to help pay for their bills. The bills that his inaction on climate, forget about the climate. They're throwing money. That's what that's the other thing Biden said the other day that I saw a clip of. He says, well, nobody can say, he's standing there with DeSantis with all these people around him, devastation around him. He says, well, now one thing is for sure, we can't say that we can't deny climate change anymore. Climate change caused this hurricane? He's bringing up climate change? Why didn't Joe just come with wads of cash and start throwing it in the sky? Because that's what we're doing in this country. We have no gas. They're begging the Saudi Arabians told him to stick that gas pipe up his ass. They're not going to be still draining the strategic reserve every day, trying to bring the gas down for the election. In the meantime, he doesn't want to drill anymore in this country. And these idiots out there saying, yeah, we got to transition. You realize this thing showed one thing more than anything else. Biden should not have mentioned anything about climate change because that's bullshit. All the money that they put together for climate, the Chinese don't care. India doesn't care. And the people who are suffering, trying to buy food and gas and clothing, they don't care. They don't care about 50 years from now because there's nothing we can do. Because 50 years ago, we were told that the planet was going to die. When Al Gore and all these frauds were telling us we were out of oil and that the climate change was going to be the existential threat. It's not. The climate change has nothing to do with the hurricane intensity. There were hurricanes 500 years ago that were stronger than this. What caused that? So my problem is, if we're going to spend our tax money, spend it on things that matter. Our country, our people, our veterans, our homeless, our drug addicted, those people. Listen, the one thing's for sure, both Democrats and Republicans, they all want to send money to Ukraine because they want that war to go on and on and on. They don't want this war to end. They want it to keep going. They don't want to sit down face to face and negotiate it. And now you got nuclear threats and all this other bullshit because Biden's got to tell everybody he's got a big dick because he's giving money to Ukraine to protect their democracy. Listen, the poor people there are suffering enough. There's no democracy in Ukraine. Putin's going to do what he wants. And no matter how much money and weapons we send them, the people are not going to be any better. It's going to be another bombed out, wrecked country. It's going to be devastated, and it's going to look like Afghanistan and all these other places after it's done. We're going to leave. We don't have any troops there, so that's the thing. Oh, we don't send our troops there. No, we're sending our equipment there, and people are getting wiped out from Russia's side and from the Ukrainian side. So what's the purpose of this war? I grew up in the Vietnam era. I was asking what the purpose of Vietnam was. Nobody had an answer. Nobody has an answer for the purpose of this war in Ukraine other than Biden has his hands in the Ukrainian oligarchs and dirty money. His son had money and his hands in it, and Biden is benefiting from this personally. And we always talked about impeaching Trump every 15 seconds for making phone calls. The fact that Biden can get away with this and the moron Republicans can keep sending money to Ukraine that nobody sees. None of the people see it. Only the corrupt oligarchs, only the people who are getting our weapons and selling them to other third-party countries. It's an outrage.
Or it's being secretly funneled back into politicians' hands here in the United States.
Exactly. Everybody should be pissed off about that. Everybody should be pissed off as an American who's proud to be an American.
I am pissed off.
You're damn right, man. All right, enough about the rats now.
I actually have one more thing about lessons that we learned, and what money should be put into here in the United States. We have been driving through areas all over, and it is very clear to us that the homes and the neighborhoods that were devastated, that had major damage, major flooding, were all homes that were the older construction, that they were stick construction rather than the newer codes that require at least the first floor to be built out of cement block, that they have
Concrete block.
Concrete
in the Beverly Hills.
cement pond, concrete block that they had to have been built, like they had to bring in dirt to build the house up an additional 10 feet above sea level. They have the heavy tile roof rather than the normal asphalt shingles. If those homes that are like in the newer neighborhood where we're planning on building our house out of the construction that we are now required to engineer our home out of, they don't look like anything happened to it. Other than landscaping, like some trees fell over, maybe some bushes got damaged. But the rest of the homes, a lot of the electrical lines are down. But the newer electrical lines that are the really tall ones made out of, what are they made out of?
Metal or concrete.
Heavy duty metal or concrete, they're fine. So it's all of the older construction that did not withstand this heavy storm.
We interrupt our storm coverage and our political bickering for a sex update. You know, this show always prides itself on bringing you, and this is not even a Florida update. Everything else we're giving you is a Florida.
Like a 180 off of this conversation.
No, but we have to change. Let's change the.
Well, I do. Everyone does have one question that wasn't answered, because the last Friday night.
What's the question?
The last Friday night it was what happened to the RV. So people want to know what happened to the RV.
Well, we did post pictures. We had to pour one out for our lovely lady, our Astoria. She did not make it.
She didn't make it to her second, but she made it only a little over a year.
And we found out from neighbors who actually they didn't evacuate, and they were able to watch what happened to our RV. Apparently, when the 150 mile per hour winds came through, she was flipped over 3 or 4 times. So she did like a somersault.
Not the good kind of flipping over a girl, 3 or 4, woman, lady, whatever you want to call it.
She was flipped over 3 or 4 times. She then was pushed on her side, so that she was 90 degrees from where we had her parked. And her back end was completely ripped off.
Blown out, man. Like she had been at a gangbang with John Holmes and all the rest of the legendary foreign stars.
All right, well, can we
it sounds like a Lifetime movie.
For 1 second, can we have a real quick moment of silence for the RV?
Yeah, let's pour one out.
All right, that affect's like 20 minutes long. But you get
you can run forever.
Man.
That's and
she got slapped up, flipped up, and rubbed out, but it wasn't too baby. It wasn't that good kind of.
You know what they say? Lay him down, booty.
They got that booty action. Lay him down and yak him.
Always do. That's right. That's how we do.
Exactly right.
So yeah, we were I have to say, we were, even though we expected it, we expected her not to survive.
Yeah, her ass got blown right out, man.
We were. There was this. I was sad. There was a tear in my, and she's fully covered. So
we finally got to Jake from State Farm yesterday. He was too busy with Pat Mahomes and all these other stu-nods filming commercials. So we finally got a hold of the State Farm people, and like a good neighbor, State Farm's going to go out and check her out.
Under over on them trying to rebuild it and save it.
No, I said to Robin, I said, don't, it's all in one piece. The interior's messed up, but it's still.
The back is ripped off.
That's only one big panel, Robin. I'm telling you. Here's my prediction. Mark the tape. Write it down. Friday, what's today's date? The 6th or the 7th? I don't even know anymore.
The 7th.
October 7th, 2022, on a Friday night, as the full moon. It's almost a full moon. It's not completely full yet, is it? No, it's almost full. Not a cloud in the sky. I'm telling you right now that what we think is a total loss of our RV will be some way, somehow, they'll say, well, we could, we'll buff that out, which is the judge, so we can just buff. And there's a lot of repairs.
Hey.
I'm telling you, the thing is intact.
At one point,
as long as that frame is good.
No way.
Yeah, the axles are there. You saw the pictures.
Everything is crashed. Everything inside of there is ruined.
A little gorilla tape will take care of it,
I don't know. Listen, do I want it to be total? Because if they try to fix it, it's not going to ever be the same. No. That's the problem when you have a vehicle. Same thing with a car. You have to put it on your Carfax. That if you're selling a car that's had water damage, you now have to report it. People used to do that. They'd have storm damage, and then they'd fix their car up and then try to sell it. And then the person who buys it doesn't know that the car, had major water damage. So that's going to be the case here, and we'll see what they say. So there's nothing we can do now. Nobody was hurt. She's insured, and so we'll let we'll let State Farm take care of it.
You don't think that some gorilla tape will hold everything back together and make it as good as new?
Alien tape. We had Gorilla Tape, Alien Tape, and Phil Swift from the Flex Seal family of products. Maybe if all three of those companies got together, we could patch that baby up.
By the way, I have not posted that video yet. So AJ was here when we unveiled the garage that I had sealed up with Gorilla Tape, and it actually survived. But the Gorilla Tape Gorilla Tape, the kind that we bought, there's like different degrees of Gorilla Tape, and I got the Gorilla Tape that was waterproof, hoping that it would help save all of our belongings that are in the one-story garage on ground level. So I sealed up the bottom and up the sides and the vents, and when we pulled it off, AJ was videotaping, and it took off tape.
It took off the paint. It took off the paint on the door.
The Gorilla Tape.
And then AJ was videotaping, so he was looking through the lens of the video of his camera, of the phone, and he didn't realize he stepped on all the excess.
And it was stuck all over him.
Oh.
He got gorilla pox. He went next level. He didn't have monkey pox. He had gorilla pox, man. That shit will kill you.
Pulling the Gorilla Tape off the house caused more damage to the house than the hurricane actually did.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, we were lucky because there were other people who did get a lot of water, even if it had only been 5 inches of water in our garage, because we have all these boxes, because we came from a bigger house, we had storage, and we're planning on moving into a bigger house. This is a small 2-bedroom that we had all this extra stuff that we put in the garage. It would have all been ruined. So we were very blessed, but I have the video that I don't think I've posted yet of AJ getting stuck to the ground on Gorilla. And I was laughing so hard I couldn't help him. The only thing I did is I grabbed the camera so I could videotape him.
I felt like I was in one of them Scooby-Doo cartoons when I was a kid, when, they always, your biggest fear as a kid was getting trapped in quicksand. I was trapped in Gorilla Tape.
It was very funny. I'll have to post it when I can.
Absolutely. I'm glad that the power's back on for you guys, and everything seems to be getting as normal as it possibly can be down there. And I was really surprised to hear that the neighbor's boat survived.
Yeah.
For sure, that's going to be
Yeah,
washed
most
away.
of the neighbors here.
Yeah.
The other key that the tip that I have for people, and we're going to do it when we build our house eventually, is when you have a boat, when you have a boat slip behind your house, get a lift. Get a lift, because if you bring your boat up on any boat that was on a lift and was properly tied down from the bow and then strap around to the actual lift, every single boat that was on a lift survived. Other boats that were just inside one of those metal, thin aluminum enclosures, those things got blown off. There are boats still on our lagoon here that are up on the grass. They must have been lifted up by the surge, but they're sitting on the side of the grass, and it almost looks like the people took it out, but they can't, because these are heavy boats. Yeah. And so there's like 2 boats on this lagoon and all over the place. We went down to where we took AJ for lunch one time when he came down here, down at the yacht club, the Tiki Hut, the Tiki Bar down here in the Cape Coral Yacht Club, which is really just a little sandy beach on a river. It's not really a beach. It's sand on a beach, but there was this long fishing pier out there and walking pier. That's completely ripped off. All that's left are the pilings, and that big Tiki Hut where we're sitting out there eating, AJ, the posts that were holding up the thatched roof, they all collapsed. So that's all come down. So I don't know what's underneath there, but it's going to be a while before we can go to that Tiki Bar, or we could go up to Pine Island to the Yucatan.
It seems that boats that were in the water attached to a pier, a lot of damage, because they were the water was obviously surging and going back and forth, and some of them ended up on top of people's homes, and I mean, it was just crazy. But the ones that had the boat lifts, and if the boat lift was brought up to the very highest level, and then they had them strapped in all around from the front, the middle, and the back, it's like nothing happened. I mean, we really learned in this storm what to do and what not to do.
Well, the moral of the story, I think, is gorilla tape. The next time a storm comes through, just gorilla tape your boat to the dock, and
but then safe. No, the gorilla tape will take your paint off. They have like those ratcheting straps, but the gorilla tape definitely worked in your garage to seal off. Like if you want to seal off so the water can't get in, gorilla tape works, folks. It works really, really good. You just have to know that you're going to have to do a touch-up paint afterwards when you're done taking it off.
I think this is a sponsorship that we should look into.
I need to send them the video. It's amazing that gorilla tape helped our garage survive Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does any
water storm surge sealed up completely?
We can't see the chat room.
I know that, but they can translate it for us. Does anybody in the chat room have questions for us before we get off and let you guys continue?
Yeah, let your questions rip, guys.
Brigham, you guys want to knock and ask, do whatever you guys want to do. We're here for the people.
I guess they could knock and ask it personally
they
too.
Yeah.
We can hear.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Anybody there? Knock, knock.
Yeah, we can't see anything, but we can certainly hear it.
So there's Ben. What does it say? I can't see. I gotta put my glasses on.
Yeah, Brian Wagner wants to know, does Ben Simmons still live underneath the flipped RV?
No, he survived, and now he'll go and see if he can miss another year of playing in the NBA for the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area, Connecticut, Hyundai dealers, Nets, wherever the hell they call themselves these days.
At least, yeah.
What?
Oh,
Captain Ron on the screen.
What is going on over there?
Captain Ron is getting married tomorrow, but yet he's still he's scheduled to get married tomorrow. I would imagine she probably had plans for him tonight, so they may not be getting married tomorrow.
Oh no! Being on the show.
That's it.
That's cold-blooded. Tony, I tried. I promise you. I tried to get her into this one. She said no to this one because she wants to keep it private. But she did not say no to the one we're doing that summer when my youngest daughter comes home.
So you asked her to broadcast the wedding on No Filter, and she said,
Absolutely fucking not.
"Is that what happened?"
Bingo.
Got it.
And learned
Get out
over
of
the
here,
years,
Janice.
happy
Get
wife,
outta
happy
here.
life. So there you go.
What the fuck you gonna do?
It is what it is.
That's
Well,
it.
I have to say, Captain Ron, if for some crazy pigs start flying and Tony and I actually get married, we will have it live on No Filter. I promise that. Because
Okay. I'm just letting you know, Miss Robin. I'll object. I'll object, Tony.
So where's this wedding going to be tomorrow?
It's going to be in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, up there in the Pacific Northwest. Hey, any Canuck fans going to be there?
Allegedly, possibly, not sure. And if there is any, they're in denial. They're like Broncos fans believing that Russell Wilson's still Mr. Unlimited.
Well, Ron, you know,
Did
what
you
I
send
say
Mickey
to a
Delaney
guy?
an invitation?
Yeah, you should have. That's right.
No, we actually have been talking like the last few days.
Yeah.
And I think we're actually going to try to say we get together. It's pretty much family that is coming to this one. And Mickey, you're my boy. I love the fun times we have. This one's basically, this one's the jump, as it's called.
Well, Ron, I always have the same thing to say to everybody that's about to get married.
But I pity the fool.
I pity the fool.
Wait. Aren't you married to my sister?
Yeah. Keep telling people.
Hey, I didn't want to talk about it.
Family.
I didn't want to talk about it because I figured in my head, the guy's got balls. It means he's like, he's marrying her, and I know my sister, and if she hasn't cut him yet, then he must be a good guy.
Maybe she has, just don't know.
That is a good point.
Because he knows if he brings it out, she'll be like, hey, close the door behind you, honey. And then we won't see AJ for 3 weeks. Like a fucking it'll be like a misery movie. You'll be knocking on the door and she'll be coming through. She's like, it's fine, Ron, it's fine. He's just taking a nap right now.
Why do you bring this guy on, Duncan? I mean, it's like
I didn't bring him on.
That's just it. I honestly don't know. I mean, I was sitting there talking to my BFF about tomorrow, and then all of a sudden I say, joining stream. I'm like, wait, what?
No, all right.
Hey, what kind of captain?
So,
are you a captain? Are you a boat captain? Are you an airline captain? Are you Captain Morgan?
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
Okay. Tony wants to hear your story. Okay, I'll make it quick. Tony, the reason why I have named Captain Ron is because of the fact that I used to do a lot of karaoke when I had my younger days. And the DJ at the karaoke bar actually said he is the captain of all the assholes because the song I did was Asshole by Dennis Leary.
Nice.
And it stuck. And then I just you know what? I can roll with this.
Out of
I'm sorry.
all the stories that I think I could have imagined you saying why you were named captain, I never would have guessed karaoke.
No.
This was during my tequila days. Allegedly.
I'm not knocking karaoke. I do love me some karaoke. It was just not even in. I never would have imagined that being a reason to have a nickname.
I got the perfect idea, Ron. Hook up with Luker, and on Friday nights after the late show, you do a retro karaoke show.
That's actually not a bad idea. Luker, I know you hear us. I think we gotta have some fun.
We'll take requests. Set up a little tip button for those who do well.
That would be actually kind of hysterical.
And
Live
Tony?
karaoke on No Filter.
That would.
Tony, we are not doing Pretty Fly for a White Guy the whole damn time.
No, Tony's a master of man. I feel like a woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that's a light.
Yeah, that's a light. Somebody's flashlight.
Let's go, girls.
I already hear
Oh,
the fan response to your karaoke retro show, Ron.
Oh, I just realized what we're seeing. No, we are seeing somebody, one of the linemen shining up at. It's, I mean, here it is. It's pitch black already. Linemen are walking down the street across the canal from us, and they're shining up. That's in the background. They're shining up on the transformers on each of the telephone poles.
We're back to the polls now.
If somebody else is talking, that's
Yeah,
going
Ron.
over the air too.
Is that your background, Ron, with a TV or something?
Yeah, Ron, is that coming from you? TV in the background?
No. That's a mirror.
If somebody
No,
else-
yeah,
Oh, you mean the
audio.
noise that's going on?
Yeah.
That would be the missus along with two of her best friends. Both are female. I am not opening that door and telling them to keep it down.
You
Oh,
got
the
either
door's
toss
closed.
them or you're getting tossed.
Background. It's still only here.
Let me sit right there for a second. Get tossed or sleep on the couch?
I know it is, but I'm just trying to explain to you, Robin, in case you didn't know it.
Well, you can come back for the second half. When to get the rest of their conversation. Because
Yeah, actually, you know what? That does it because I have to get a
the Cardinals
refill.
and their fans walking out on the Phillies.
I have to get a refill anyway because my drinking game
You're
is
gonna
still
need St. Louis
getting
tonight.
conducted.
Yeah.
Oh, in your case,
It's still going.
we go have some fun with that. You and me go have some fun with that after this is over.
All right, man. Look, get out of here. Go get your refill. Come on back. Now, listen, I 100% support you. Do not walk out that door. Do not walk out the door. That is bad,
Tony,
bad news
Robin.
written all over it.
Damn good interview, guys. I missed the hell shit fuck out of y'all. Robin, I'm sorry. You got Tony, so you should be good.
Robin walked out. Robin walked out because I said to her, Robin, you're talking while there's talking going on the other side. And then she got mad at me for pointing that out. And she got up and walked away.
See, Ron, you're causing fucking problems all the way across the country with that background TV. And you're fucking like 20 Sopranos head.
This boring.
Not even married yet, and he's starting fights in other households. Oh my
Seriously.
God, get out of here. Get out of
There
here.
you go. Get off my. What the fuck, man? You supposed to get off my phone, scumbag. Just kidding, Ron. Not that
The
you're a
great
scumbag.
talk,
My
man.
phone
That's
sounds
great,
bad.
that's great New York. That's great New York talk radio icon knowledge right there, pal.
I told you I was obsessed with radio when I was a kid. Loved him.
Me too.
Oh, and Tony,
Oh my
the
God.
Phillies. What?
So
While
you
you're,
can
While you're, again, I'm sorry.
no, say it. Yeah, you can.
I was
Go
going to
now.
say the Phillies. Look at the Phillies, Tony. Today, down
This
2
could
to
be
nothing.
the team of the year, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm not one for hyperbole when it comes to sports, but we may see the Phillies in the World Series making an unbelievable run, and then the Eagles going to Arizona. We already know. We already accepted our invitation to the big Super Bowl party held by our good friend, the super agent to the stars. Lee Steinberg already has his location locked in for the upcoming Super Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know the exact date. It's obviously early February, but we will be there for the first time in like 3 years to hang out and party like it's 1999 all over the Valley of the Sun, baby. I want to see Penguin AZ. I want to see all of our friends out there in not just the Penguin AZ, but of course the other guy. What's his name out there?
Play action real.
That's right. Play action real. Is he drinking his? He'll be pouring some of those quality beverages that I have yet to see or drink, and we'll be having.
He's about three pints into his IPA tonight.
3 pints.
Yeah, into the IPA. He's going hardcore tonight. He had a long week.
Now, is he in the chat room or is he getting ready for the into the? Now, you guys are going to continue on with Into the Nightcap, right?
Yes, we are. Immediately following the Tony Bruno show, we'll be there into the nightcap. Myself, John from Mayfair, Play Action Real, Penguin AZ. Play Action is inside the chat. I haven't seen him jump on here a sec, which means two things. He's either refilling a bowl or refilling his drink. So we'll play it by ear.
Or both. Or both. Robin, are you going to come back?
Or
and say
both.
goodbye or just be? Okay. She's making fucking dinner. She said.
What do we have?
Angler.
Well, will she be drying more clothes tonight? That's what we all want to know.
No, we have our washer and dryer hooked up now. We actually washed the sheets today and put them in the dryer. So we got to make the bed. She's feeding the cats. You know, we got air conditioning inside. It's a beautiful night. The only thing you can see is the moon, and I think that's Venus. Whatever the brightest star in the sky, it's not the North Star. They used to be in Minnesota and then, of course, moved to Dallas and then just became the stars, period, because they can't be the North Stars, just like the Jazz, who were in New Orleans, moved to Utah and remained the Jazz, which never made any sense to me when you talk about team nicknames.
Yeah, it's like Minneapolis Lakers, right?
That's your penis.
No, I can see that. It's not that high, not that bright. Mine may be white, but I ain't that white.
Hello.
By the way, who are the Eagles playing this? It's Friday night. I don't have I can't print anything. I can't get on the internet. I can't check point spreads. What's the line on the Eagles game, and who the hell are they playing this weekend?
I got the book up, so let me.
So the Eagles are playing the Cardinals simultaneously as the Phillies play the Cardinals. So it's a beat the Redbird weekend.
Yeah, but the Eagles are going to be in Arizona Cardinals, not in St. Louis, where the Arizona Cardinals came from. But so the Eagles are in Arizona, the same building that will be hosting the Super Bowl. This will be a Super Bowl, although Arizona can't be in the Super Bowl because they're in the NFC, and I don't know how good they're going to be. But the bottom line is, I think the Eagles, the Birds, man. So the Eagles are in Arizona this weekend, and the Phillies are in St. Louis. It's a Cardinal bad bird weekend. We got birds everywhere. You got the Cardinals and you got the Eagles. And let's be honest, I love Cardinals. They're beautiful, but the Eagles are a bird of prey. And Eagles would eat Cardinals any day of the week. Let's go to a bird person, a woman has multiple bird calls, has a bird identification app on her own phone. The bird lady herself, Miss Robin.
I say robins they always get the worms, so they're above everybody.
Can you hold this, Robin? Because I'm holding two things.
Oh, you hold that worm. Hold that worm.
No, not that one. Not that one.
I'll hold that worm.
Yo. Boom, rim shot.
Hey guys, we thank you again for 2 weeks in a row, taking up the reins, taking up what we cannot do. We appreciate you filling in for us. The one thing that I realized I'm going to have to tell you how to do is how to put it on, or AJ, did you put it up on the podcast app afterwards too?
No, ma'am, I did not. But you can talk me through that this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk you through that because last week and this week, I'm sure that the national people are, all the podcast people are dying to find out what's going on here as well.
Absolutely.
But we cannot thank you guys enough for doing double duty, overtime. It's awesome.
Overtime and double duty. Dunkin never leaves no filter. He's got shows on Monday. Now he's got 2 shows on Wednesday because he's on Bleacher Brothers.
I know, Dunkin'
3 shows on Friday.
I don't know how you do it.
It's like a fucking Kardashian, just cameras around the whole time.
Cocaine is a powerful drug.
Tucker Carlson's not going to interview him after Kanye. I didn't see it, but I heard the Kanye interview was great. We haven't had a television set on for how many since last Friday morning when we left Delray Beach.
Wow.
It's a whole week without any TV, man. How about that?
I bet it feels good, though, to kind of detoxify your body from all the fucking bullshit in this world.
It does, but it also makes you feel like we are definitely out of the loop on things that we need to know. It's so frustrating. If anybody out there in the government is listening that is trying to tell the people here in Southwest Florida who need to go to resources, right? Whether it's filing claims or where do we go to get provisions or what's open now and what's closed. They always tell you to go to www.blah, blah, 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 blah. Hello, we don't have internet. How do we go to all these places? You need to give us access to things that do not require internet.
The only good thing about no internet is I haven't been able to go in and see if my bills have been paid and how low my 401k is after 8 days.
Well, here's a piece of good news is that they just extended the 2021 Florida tax deadline until February of next year. So anybody in Florida, if you haven't filed your taxes yet,
You're good to go.
or if you've got an extension that expires in a few days, now you have all the way until February.
What tax? There's no state income tax in Florida.
No, federal taxes.
John from Mayfair advises that if you had an access card, you'd be covered.
Here.
But there's still the deadline of federal
Yeah,
taxes.
still- you
A
still-
lot-
The deadline is April.
Yeah, but if you
Next year,
file
April
You
15th.
file the extension, though. You file the extension, I think you get to like August, right, AJ?
if you file the extension, you get to October 15th. And because
Right.
I always file an extension, and I was with my accountant earlier, and he said, "Well, we got till February," and I said, "Well, fuck it then." Could you imagine if a hurricane came through Cherry Hill and knocked out the internet? No Filter would go out of business without Dunkin
Die.
broadcasting 24/7.
Yeah. What would they do?
Yeah.
I try
it would.
to get on my phone and try to shit out like that. Be all right. Oh my gosh, yeah. But thank you again for giving AJ and I the opportunity to run the show for you guys, and everybody wants to know what's going on, how you're making out, and listen, all the red, blue, yellow, fucking rainbow shit aside, things like this. It's about people. It's about making sure individuals down there have resources, making sure that people are taken care of, and we're happy. Okay, we're really happy that you're able to continue to do what you always do, which is help other individuals. And again, testament to who you are. And a lot of times people listen. Put the fucking climate change away. Put the politics away. Put the height away. Put all the this, that, and bullshit. This is people's lives. This is people's livelihood.
Yep.
This is their entire life. Get over yourselves for 2 fucking weeks.
No one.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the other thing that's weird, I have to say, is that, obviously being here, this is our entire life. Everything that's happened after Hurricane Ian and the restoration and everything, this is what consumes 24/7 of our life. And it's weird the times that we are able to sporadically log on to Twitter or something like that, and we see other people posting about other stuff that is so inane. It's so childish or nonsensical that means nothing. And you're like, wow, people have no idea. And they don't care. They don't care about all these people suffering.
No.
And it's really weird. It's really weird to have that perspective.
Unreal. It's unreal. Pray for people. You know what I'm saying? Pray for people, because it's got to be an act of God that changes their mind, because they're so just, they follow along with everything. No one fucking thinks for themselves. You know what I mean? God.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, we've seen bits and pieces ourselves of being touched by something beautiful. The woman in Las Vegas that we mentioned last week, who helped us find out that our downstairs neighbor was okay. She didn't know anybody from Timbuktu, but she felt like she had to help somehow or another, and she did. And she allayed our fears so much that we knew that our downstairs neighbor was alive. And then these people that we met from the Iglesias Miami, we just sort of last minute, we didn't have any idea. We just sort of last minute said, hey, we were able to get these extra water and what are they called? MREs?
Yes.
MRE provisions. We don't need them. Let's see if anybody else needs. So we just sort of spur of the moment. Like we said, we weren't dressed for anything. We just thought we were going to drop off supplies. And we happened to be driving along the road right then when this big group of people, they needed a ride in, and they were trying to help other people. And so we were able to facilitate that. And, it's beautiful things happen. And it really makes you realize how wonderful people are when you give them the chance.
Yeah.
Most people are really good-hearted, wonderful people when it comes down to it, but we don't have a lot of that kind of interaction anymore in this modern world of technology.
Nope.
And
No, it unfortunately takes Yeah, it unfortunately takes incidents such like this where you have to remove all the distractions, remove all the technology, and actually go hand in hand with someone. And thank goodness that there's still good people out there, and people are really moved by
Yep.
doing the right thing.
I've always said this is one of those things I'm a non organized religion kind of person. I'm religious, but I don't like the big churches and big.
Hang on. We lost you for a second. Hold on. All right, Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, something went wrong with the board and it disconnected the Bluetooth.
Oh.
So you're not coming through, and I can't. It's not giving me.
Should I call you back real quick?
Yeah.
I think that this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, give us a call back real quick.
I'll be right back. Hang on. Let me get that reconnected.
Yeah, gonna get it reconnected. Yeah, and it does, and just to to keep that going on is that a lot of times we get so distracted. I was actually having a conversation with my uncle earlier, and he was saying man, just for all this stuff that we have and we grow and we get losing all this technology, all this communication, all this media stuff. He goes, I've been around almost 85 years. He was like, people don't talk. He said they're talking, but they're not talking. They're reacting, but they're not really reacting to what people are actually going through and what they're actually experiencing. And he says when you get to these points where shit goes away, this is when you actually get, the real individual, the real person that comes out. But we're living in a world now where you got these kids, they don't give a shit. They run around, they shit, they talk, and anyway, it's crazy. AJ is sitting there working to get these guys back on board, and hopefully they'll be back. If anybody wants to jump in and knock real quick, maybe get you on while Tony and Robin are calling back in.
Yeah, no,
They're gonna be done.
I don't know. It's technical issues here.
We got a technical issue with them. I mean, it was amazing. We had them for about an hour and change with the cell service out there. Yeah, knocker. I didn't even go ahead, jump on. This program is you guys, and I guess what we want to talk about too, why we have this little break in programming, is the whole idea of Bleacher Brothers. AJ, you want to run that up real quick?
So, just real quick, you may have heard the words Bleacher Brothers. Something that we did 13 years ago. Didn't really work out because, I don't know, just we didn't execute the plan correctly. It was dead, but, meeting Tony, Robin, No Filter, Duncan, getting back together with Ron and Nick the Flick. We're bringing it back to life, and we're bringing it back to life in a really cool way, using the No Filter platform. What it is, it's Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, but we're beyond sports. Now it's Bleacher Brothers Sports, entertainment, news. If you have a passion about sports, which a lot of people, that I'm seeing right here in the chat room right now do, we're going to give you a platform where you can voice your opinion and talk about your passion right here, not just on No Filter, but we will push out the podcasts. No Filter. One of the issues, and I'll do this real quick. One of the issues with No Filter, it's phenomenal that you can get on here and do what you do. That the back and forth in the chat room with different opinions can happen, and no one is going to get censored or edited. But one of the problems with No Filter is nobody knows it fucking exists. That's the biggest problem. So we need to spread the word. And the same with the Tony Show. The two most common Google phrases for Tony Bruno are "What the hell happened to Tony Bruno?" and "Where is Tony Bruno now?" So us fans of Tony and the show, we got to start spreading the word a little bit more about Tony, Tony Bruno Show, and No Filter. But also, what we've been able to do so far, and we've only been doing this Bleacher Brothers on No Filter for maybe a month and a half now, is when we film the episodes on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Thursdays, because we've got multiple shows going on now. We have shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday right now between Ron, myself, Duncan. We're downloading them and putting them up on YouTube at this point. We're not putting them on podcasts, Apple and Spotify and all that yet. But on YouTube, we're getting a massive amount of traffic for somebody that just started doing this. I mean, all of our podcasts, for the most part right now, are getting 3, 4, 5,000 views on YouTube. And when we look at the analytics, people aren't just, clicking on it and then getting out. they're sitting through these things for an hour, hour and a half. That's pretty freaking powerful. So the idea with Bleacher Brothers Real Short and the plan is, you know, you want a podcast, you want to take whatever it is, whether it's retro karaoke at 2 a.m. or you're part of the Bills Mafia and you want a platform and an opportunity to actually get on, talk about it, and have people see it and get involved. You know, that's what Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, Bleacher Brothers Entertainment, that's what Bleacher Brothers is at this point. So, you know, I mean, the shows currently on No Filter that are part of Bleacher Brothers, every Dunkin show, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12:15. Okay, you're not going to get a lot of sports there. You might, depends on what's going on, but you're going to get current events. You're going to get, you know, what's on Dunkin's mind. I think it's a super cool show. I believe Into the Nightcap now is Into the Nightcap part of Into the Nightcap part of Bleacher Brothers. Yes.
Yes, with the first show going out tonight. So make a splash tonight when you're on into Nightcap, and you know, like just to cut into AJ's little spiel here. Um, having an umbrella on nofilter.net that will take your programs, your interest, your shows, and automatically feed them out into these other markets. One's going to grow your following, which, you know, hopefully everybody wants to do that and draw attention to what's going on. But at the same time, it's you don't have to sit there and cut and edit and splice. And does this sound good? Does that sound good? Underneath this umbrella, all that stuff is going to go. And there's so many people out there that want to talk. I mean, I see guys jump on middle of the day. You know, people are off on a Wednesday at 3 o'clock and looking for something to do. Hang out, talk with your buddies, check it out, go watch the videos. You know, there's so many shows. It's sort of like now we're giving you a one channel TV guide with all of these little arms and tentacles underneath, and it's phenomenal. You know, hopefully the other guys come aboard with the Play Action and his show with Luke or the retro rads and the retro shows. Ron's got the aftermath. AJ's got his show. Baseball and AJ Johnson show 8 p.m. I do one more quarter. We do Into the Nightcap. We're helping out with Tony. It's really taken off, and I know everybody out there enjoys listening to it. Everybody loves participating with it, and what's better than hanging out with everybody, hanging out with the family, having a drink, sitting back, laughing. You feel like listening to something a little introspective? Hey, check me out. You feel like cutting up and having a good time and nothing, go listen into Nightcap. You want to listen to Tony? Follow him. Pass that along. You want to listen to AJ? You want to break down baseball? You want to listen to Ron and tear apart?
We're not just baseball. Don't label them as baseball.
No, not just baseball.
No. We've had from Frank Savannah, who was
boxing,
fantastic interview, and we talk football and just personalities that we're bringing in. Whether it's Nick the Flick or a snipe, the American Sniper. Please, part of doing this is if we are, and I see, I see Penguin, and I appreciate that, and the family, support the family. I try as much as possible to tune in if I know someone that's doing a show, whether it fits in my schedule or not. I try to make sure that I'm there live. And the other thing with doing a podcast and doing a show, what we can deliver is I'm really freaking good on the digital marketing side. I mean, to take a podcast that didn't exist, I was able to land Lenny Dykstra as the first guest on the podcast, the very first one we did, and it went horribly wrong. We had lots of technical issues and blah, 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 blah. The thing is still got 4,000 fucking views because I know how to, it's just one of the skills I've picked up. I know how to market. I know how to get people watching, listening, tuning back in. So when I started doing this, and I'll stop with this, first couple of podcasts I did, I was nervous as shit. And I have a lot of guests that I'm trying to get on that just, they're ducking me at this point because they want to come on, but they're afraid to come on. It's actually so much fun. If you've never tuned into the Nightcap, do it tonight, because that was the most fun I've had in years hanging out with those guys a couple of weeks ago. Our show this past Wednesday night kind of sort of resembled an Into the Nightcap because it was me and Dunkin and Ron and Nick and Mike were on there, and I just thought it was, I thought the show was okay when we got off, but the feedback I got was, I mean, my wife always tunes in because she's my wife, but she usually dips after 5 minutes because she's not really into sports. And she goes, AJ, I stayed for the whole thing. It was so funny. You guys were so much fun. Um, we will produce it. I mean, we're learning as we go, but we'll produce it for you. We will deliver. Yes, Padres up 3-0 over the Mets. Just again shows you how fucking smart I am. When I give you a lock, take my lock.
Damn.
I gave you the
Jesus God.
Phillies today. I gave you the Padres today. I gave you Cleveland today, and I gave you Seattle today. I will withhold any NFL picks because you fuckers don't deserve it tonight. All right. But next week, if you're nice to me and you tune in on Wednesday night, I'll give you I'll give you next week's NFL lock. And Duncan, I'm pretty much undefeated because you've been with me with all these picks so far, right? Yeah.
And I've been the complete opposite, which I said was good. I said anything that I go with, just bet the opposite. And so far, we've been good. So far, we've been good. So
that's how I'm making my picks. I listen to you, and then
listen to me. Just do the opposite.
That's it.
Like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's doing nothing. I ain't nothing. Yeah, blah blah blah. But yeah, man, this is great. Loving it, man. It's Padres Mets. Hey, listen. I'm not saying anything about the stars align and all that kind of shit, but just a nice little ending to the game today. Scherzer, there you go. Max Scherzer, 2 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs.
I need to ring the bell sound.
I know.
I don't have. I'll get it for next week. Well, actually, I'll probably be eliminated by then. But
we got playoff action. Anybody, please jump on. Knock. Knock. Yeah, whatever you got on your chest, get it off your chest now. Set it up, put in a little package, carry it over for the Into the Nightcap show. Lay it down, man. Lay it down. There's a lot of stuff going on. We got Major League Baseball. We got records breaking. We got pool holes. We got Judge. We got the Phillies action. We've got NFL action taking off. I mean, look at some of these teams that are out there, right? I mean, Denver. I was in love with Denver. I drank that Kool-Aid so much. Myself and Philly Godfather. I was like, dude, I fucking drank that Kool-Aid. He's like, yeah, me too. Dude, what is up with Russell Wilson? It's the NFL. 12-9? 12-9. Man,
it was so bad. I turned it off in the third quarter and watched the Nolan Ryan documentary.
That's bad. I mean, Nolan Ryan expressed that's good. I mean, Play Action's a huge Houston Astros fan, so he's all about Nolan Ryan and Ryan Express. And I still think to this day that's one of the greatest baseball moments. Robin Ventura eyeing him, charging the mound. Oh, dude, it's like
Ryan puts him in a headlock and just pounds him.
The headlock, he just pounds him. Just get on. Let's go. Play Action's first game at the Astrodome. Nolan Ryan at the Astrodome. That's got to be nice, man.
So stop typing it and come on, Penguin. Let's go. Knock, knock.
Knock, knock, Penguin. Knock, knock. Play Action. Coming up right after this is going to be John from Mayfair, Play Action Real, myself, Penguin AZ. We'll go into the nightcap. See how long we go. Conversation always percolates, moves around, keeps going and flowing. While I do have everybody still here in the audience, again, let me do a little roll call because Tony and Robin listen back later. Everybody on the podcast, they're going to listen back later. Cat, thanks for hosting them and putting them up and everything that you did for those guys over the last year plus, and amazing, wonderful lady, her and her husband Jerry, Joey Bianco, Ricky Alamario, Andre Martinelli Jr., John Bonacorsi, Scrabble Joe Q, Philly Guy Speaks. Check him out on Twitch. You're missing picks. One guy's got his finger and pulse on Philadelphia sports. Joe Q. Track, horses, Joe Q.
I can't wait until I used to be a big horse racing guy, but now it's just the Triple Crown. But I can't wait till Triple Crown comes around and get with Joe Q.
Hey man, he calls that stuff like Delaware Park and all that stuff. I was actually the other day we were talking about the bridges and stuff. And Tony's like, oh yeah, the bridge is getting fixed and whatever. So inside to Dunkin before I keep running down this list, my mom comes down. My aunt's sick. She's in Colorado. It's her oldest sibling. Blah 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 blah. So I'm taking her down the airport at like 2:45 or like 1:45, which is like a clusterfuck time anyway to go down 95. So I'm going south, get to Essington Ave. As I'm approaching past Essington, and I see the old Navy Yard, the cranes and shit like that, it's backing up. I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm not going to sit in this. By the time I come out from dropping her off, as I get to the little overpass to get back on the 95 north or go south, it is standstill. Nothing is moving. It's all tractor trailers. And I was like, fuck this. I said, I'm not going down, not going 322. I drove all the way into Delaware. Got on Delaware Memorial Bridge, jumped back across, all the way up fucking 295, 295 to 130, up Tacony, across the bridge. But still, I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. You got to be kidding me, because I'll take traffic. I mean, 405, all that kind of shit. Yeah, Wood exit. Wood exit. Yeah, Wood exit. It's not the Jersey Turnpike. This is on the Philly side. So,
I
but
got
still, like,
I got some traveling music
Yeah.
for you. Will you tell this story? There you go. Can you hear that?
there we go. Yeah. Duncan was flying along, passing Gibbsboro, passing Paulsboro, passing the little Sunoco refineries down there at the bottom of 295 off the bridge, blowing by the cops, 55, honking the horn. But finally get back in and letting myself, I was like, listen, I said, I'd much rather be moving than sitting there in traffic. I can't do that. So I was like, I'm going to drive 25 minutes out of my way to backtrack. But anyway, got that done. She got to the airport all fine. After Travel Joe, we get the Penguin AZ. Trevor Harris checking in from Arizona, because Trevor's in Arizona, baby. He's taking a break out there, watching the Eagles. So if the Eagles lose, we're pinning it on Trevor. Jeffy Harbaugh, maybe related to the Harbaughs. We don't know if he is. We love it. Paulie Ferreira, Delco Dude, Jonathan Kwan, John from Mayfair, Tony Searin, Matt Raposo, Jeffrey Luce, BW, Brian Wagner, Larry Campbell, James Siciliano, Play Action Real. Everybody over there in the chat, thank you so much for jumping on, hanging out with us. Tony appreciates it. Robbie really, really appreciates it. We're trying not to sink the ship too quick, but we love it. Anybody else out there? We've got Scrapples, Joes, the Gamers, the Cardinals. I guess I throw that out to the Arizona guys that are out there. Apparently, there's a pretty big conglomerate of Eagles fans that have traveled, to the game. Philly Sports Trip. I know our good friend Angel Hernandez, or not Angel. What's his last name? He did Broad Street South podcast. Still with Philly Spits, and he's out there with a bunch of guys. I know that Trev's out there this week. A lot of national people saying this Eagles team, looks like they stay healthy. Touch wood. They'll be on top of it. They'll be on top of it at the end there.
Eagles fans were excited until the Eagles lose their first game, and then they'll all be jumping off the fucking bridge.
Yeah, but you know what? I want to bring this up too before we dip out. I'm listening to our local radio station, right? And just how dominant the NFL is. The Phillies are in the postseason. 45 minutes worth of radio, all about the Eagles. Not once did somebody bring up Phillies baseball. Not once. And I feel like, we talked about this conversation a couple weeks ago. Like, was there this moment where the Phillies in particular, like they lost sort of that following. They lost that opportunity to kind of capitalize on it. First time in 11 years, that's why you maybe for the. Yeah, I mean, I guess so, Joe. I guess so. I mean, the first time in 11 years, but you figure the first time in 11 years, there's got to be this, this underbelly of Phillies fans that wants to come out and be heard. I mean, I was all geeked up about it. I had it, on the radio, had it on the TV. I'm following it on the stream. I wanted to know like as soon as it was happening, but yeah, good deal.
Hey, check this guy out, man. I got this guy today. Let me try to hold it up. That's my new
Oh,
guy.
look at that guy.
So he was so this animal rescue that I'm somewhat involved in down here. They're the largest no-kill animal rescue in the country, blah blah blah. I saw it on Facebook a few weeks ago. They have a bunch of these Goldens, and the adoption fee, usually it's like $100 to adopt. These things were $1,000. So I saw people saying that's insane. But the story behind this is these dogs came from China. They were bred basically to be like egg rolls. They were gonna kill and eat these dogs. Some sort of undercover CIA animal rescue thing in the middle of the night, broke in, stormed the fucking place, got 100 Goldens out of there, and it took them about a year because they got to go through all these different countries and customs and quarantine and all that bullshit. But this dog is 2. He knows nothing, like nothing. He's not house trained. He doesn't even know his fucking name. So we renamed him today. I don't know yet, whatever his name was.
Is there a language barrier, maybe?
I have no idea, but he's there. I think today might have been the first time he ever rode in a car other than being transported from, airport to airport to the animal rescue. But this guy is cute as shit, bro. He's going to be a handful. My wife is pissed because I brought the dog home and I said, all right, I got to go do a show. and I left it. They both started shitting all over the house. But
Very nice, man. Yeah, yeah. You know, sit, stay, etc. Mandarin. Yeah, Brian's like you got to practice your Mandarin. Maybe a little Google Translate will say it for you. You know, that was actually a good little segue because I was talking to a lady friend and she's like, yeah, tonight I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go and get my nails done before I go out. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, where do you go? She goes, oh yeah, one of those little you know Asian whatever kind of places. I'm like, oh yeah. And then walk in, they tell you, oh, you look real beautiful. You want acrylic gel? Blah 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 blah. And then they start talking behind your back or whatever. Well, apparently there's earbuds now that they real time translate for you. So maybe
so
if
cool.
you do this, you could talk to the dog. Maybe put it in the ears and
That would be so cool.
some headphones, right? Let me try
Yeah.
it. Why not,
That's a
right?
great fucking idea. Why didn't we think of that
I
ourselves?
don't know, man. Listen, we're all here to help each other.
Episode
Yeah, a little
Right,
Asian
right.
persuasion. That's right, baby.
where she
That's right.
she snuck in Costanza's father, who understood Korean and found out what they were saying. Yeah.
Maybe it needs a little motivation. Who knows? Maybe you got to dim the lights, put a candle, get some towels on the table or something like that. It'll work out for you. I don't know.
So what's on tap for Into the Nightcap tonight?
Yeah, so into Nightcap coming up. Yeah, Orchid of Ages went up there, Bob Kraft. Yeah, myself, John from Mayfair, Play Action Real, Penguin AZ. We're gonna keep this going. I'm sure we got a lot of stuff to talk about here in the city. Again, we've got this shit going on. It was in Vegas now, right? Guy walking around, killed 2 people on the strip.
Yeah, with a steak knife.
Yeah, steak knife. Cut up some other people. Again, 32 years old, Jose or Juan Barrios or whatever, a Guatemalan national in the country illegally, already got a rap sheet and record from California. It's like, again, it's like, at what point, right? Like, at what point do people finally just say, look, let's go. Come on, man. This is getting out of hand, man. It's getting out of hand. They, even the police commissioner here in the city, she made an appearance for the first time in like ever. She was talking about the senseless killing and the shooting over in Roxborough, and how the kids should know better and blah blah blah. And it's like a day late and a dollar short. You know what I mean? And these guys, they've got no teeth behind them. They can't get out there. They can't enforce any laws. Uncle Joe, right, wrong, this, that, and different. He just gave a pardon to every single person that had a federal marijuana sort of charge.
No one fucks with a Biden. Remember that.
Yeah, no one fucks with a Biden. No one fucks with a Biden. It's funny because it's like you can ask and question anyone else, but don't bring it to my table. It doesn't apply to me. Don't ask me. I don't like they're above it. And still I will go on and on and on and on about how if you continue to pour this much aid and assistance and money to some place, at some point, man, people are like, dude, you're covering up for something. Like it doesn't logically make sense. And all the innocent people in between, unfortunately, they've always been the victim over the course of time. Always. There's always innocent people. There's always collateral damage. But on this kind of scale, it's fucking atrocious, man. I mean, like anyway, it's a pain in the ass. It's a total pain in the ass.
Remember back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, you're watching episodes of 24 with Jack Bauer, and the storylines were so insane and so crazy. And the president this and that, and you're like, oh my God, this is fucking great, but this is so like off the wall.
Far-fetched. Yeah.
Fucking reality now.
Yeah, you're living it. You're fucking living it. Yeah, you're absolutely living it. They had a something that came out about the end of Watergate and da. Anyways, big article about that. But the bottom line was that even the other side of the argument now is starting to admit, like, maybe there's things that go on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And it's like, it took you that fucking long to figure this out? I was told this shit when I was like 4 or 5 years old. You know what I mean? It's like, and you knew it, you nodded your head, it never came to your doorstep at the bottom. The problem now is that it's on everybody's doorstep. It's everybody's doorstep because it's in your 401k, it's in your gas, it's in your groceries, it's in your paycheck, it's in the extra taxes, it's in all of these bits of legislation that come down. And listen, I'm not fucking political ass on it. But the bottom line is people are so hesitant to say this when it's right. It's literally right in front of you. Literally right in front of you. Anyway.
Look at Fauci. Fauci was worth $5 million pre-COVID, and now he's worth $12 million.
Yeah.
So how did the guy live? How old is he? 300 years old. So he went 300 years for $5 million, but yet in the blink of an eye, he more than doubled his net worth.
You know, I'm gonna answer Brian right now. Lori Lightfoot comes out and she does this little karaoke hit, Sweet Home Chicago, bopping out with her little stuff. Oh my God. I about threw up watching that video. If I could bring it up and find it, I would, but maybe bring it up on the Into the Nightcap show. People throw out the meme. It's Beetlejuice and the guy's got the shrunk head sitting there in the doctor's office or whatever. If they had a love child, that would be Lori Lightfoot. And listen, I don't care if you're blue, red, independent, whatever.
Same page, okay.
She's the mayor of a major metropolitan city, which is a literal dumpster fire. I got friends out there on the force. I got friends out there that are, community activists on both fucking sides, and they're like, this chick does nothing. Like, she does absolutely nothing, but yet she gets up there and she grandstands and she proclaims to be all about this. Those guys who would bitch and complain about the dailies running Chicago, because the dailies ran it like the mob. They're like, give us a daily family member and we'd be happier, because at least they knew shit wasn't going to be so completely off the chain that they would worry about just going to work, getting shot at, and then being blamed for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Is this who you're talking about?
How you
talking?
Same page, okay.
Are we ready to play, everyone?
Where is it?
Are our seatbelts on?
No, we're not talking about
Do
it.
either of you have to use the men's room before we start?
Let me see if I...
No. Okay, here we go. All right. Here we go. Beetlejuice, you're first.
There she is. That's
And
her,
here's
that's
your
her,
question.
right? That's Lori Lightfoot?
Spell red.
Red, LST.
That's close to her. Man, let's see if I can't bring it up. I can't find it right now. I'll bring it up for the Into the Nightcap show. A lot to bring in, but yeah, I just want to thank you again, man, for jumping on, being here, helping me on the backside, because that stuff over there, I don't, that's all above my pay grade. All above my pay grade. And everybody who's out there listening, seriously, you have any ideas, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to get off your chest, anything you want to team up with somebody, you find somebody else in the chat that you get along with. Maybe you guys, make your own little program, talk about this, that, and the other thing. Put it together, send it over. Bleacher Brothers Sport Network at Gmail.
At Gmail, yeah. Bleacher Brothers Sports Network at Gmail. Website launching hopefully in the next week or two. I've been working on it forever. Everybody loves a double team, though, so it's always good to team up. Who hasn't loved being in a double team?
Run the train, baby. Run the train. Come on, ride that train. Ride it. Very nice, very nice. All right, everybody. We're dipping out into the nightcap coming up next, 9:15. Yeah, spit rip. It's like, a little Polynesian persuasion vacation. That's what we're talking about there. That's what we're talking about. See you all next week. Hopefully, Tony and Robin will have the internet up and running by then so they can make their grand return. If not, I guess you're going to be, back here again with me and AJ, burning the fires, kicking the tires.
They got to be back by next week.
Gotta be back. All right, everybody, please, if you want to, coming up next into the nightcap, we'll see you all there. AJ, thank you again for everything. Everybody in the chat, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interaction. Always glad to hear from Tony and Robin. Please, retro ads Monday night with Luker, Play Action Reel. Retro shows Thursday night, Luker, Play Action Reel. Myself, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12:15. As long as the kids don't have some crazy ass half day or some crazy ass Christian, indigenous people, whatever kind of holiday that they're running nowadays, I'll be there. Bleach Brother shows.
Tuesdays at 8 p.m. NFL Aftermath. Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Midweek Sports Update. And Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, The Last Call.
All right, everybody. We love it. Jump on. See you later in a minute. Be good. Hey, Don Juan, matriculate on over to Into the Nightcap. Thanks for jumping on there, buddy. recognize everybody else in the chat, and be good, be safe wherever you are. Make sure you use protection. Watch your six, and we'll see you all next week.